Epictetus warned, "What is not under your control can never be your concern." Tonight we flip that principle. 7 ugly habits are under your control, and they repel women faster than any lack of looks or money. Stay to the final chapter, smash subscribe, light up that like button, and share your story in the comments, because fixing even one habit can change every conversation, every date, every relationship you touch. Chapter 1. Your words don't match your actions. You promise her an 8 o'clock call, then 8 turns into 9 while you scroll through daily news headlines, entirely losing track of time. You pledge to meet her at dawn for a serious leg day workout, only to hit the snooze button 3 times and finally roll out of bed when the sun has already climbed too high. You declare you'll learn Italian well before your trip abroad, picturing lively conversations in cobblestone piazzas, but each evening finds you absorbed in Netflix, promising yourself you'll get started tomorrow. It's not the delay itself that sours the connection, it's the dissonance between what you say and what you actually do. When words remain empty, trust withers away like a wooden support beam silently eaten by termites, appearing intact on the outside yet disintegrating where it matters most. The Stoics believed that virtue must be displayed in deeds, not simply proclaimed in speeches. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers and emperors, famously kept a nightly journal. His purpose wasn't merely to record lofty ideas, but to ensure his day's actions aligned with the principles he professed. Likewise, modern relationships hinge on the tangible evidence of follow-through. When your calendar, phone alarms, or daily schedule clearly reflect the commitments you made, she feels secure. She sees that your words translate into genuine effort. But when the schedule is empty or repeatedly ignored, she experiences a sense of being left in a fog of unfulfilled promises, an unreality that leaves her unsure of where she stands. The solution begins with a brutally honest conversation with yourself. Stop making pledges when you're on a motivational high that won't survive your next wave of exhaustion. Refuse to say, "I'll try," and replace it with the clarity of "I commit." If you can't truly see yourself following through under pressure, don't offer false hope just because it feels good in the moment. From that firm foundation, install practical systems that hold you accountable. Use calendars to block out specific time slots. Set alarms that require you to physically get up to turn them off. Ask a close friend or partner to check in, not as a nag but as an accountability ally. The key is to remove reliance on sheer willpower, create real-world guardrails that keep you on track when motivation inevitably fluctuates. Consistency isn't just about impressing her once in a while. True reassurance comes when you deliver not just one time but every time. The first instance of doing what you said you would do brings relief. She may think, "Okay, maybe this time is different." Repeated demonstrations of reliability evoke deeper admiration. But when you begin showing up without advertising your efforts, simply letting your actions speak, something magical happens. She feels a quiet, potent form of captivation. You aren't announcing victory, you're living it. Integrity becomes your silent magnetism. In many ways, follow-through communicates affection in a language that words cannot match. Forget grand declarations, poetic lines, or elaborate compliments. None of those hold a candle to consistent, tangible proof that you mean what you say. The security she feels walking beside you stems from knowing that the promises you make today will still be there, solid and intact, when tomorrow arrives. It's the difference between hearing a nice speech and witnessing a genuine act of care. Over time, every sentence you speak gains weight. Like a heavy stone dropped into water, its impact is both heard and felt. In the end, this is not just about impressing someone else, it's about forging a life of real substance and character. Your dreams, ambitions, and relationships become more enduring when built on the foundation of solid follow-through. Over the weeks and months, your self-confidence grows as well, because you know you've become the kind of man whose word can be trusted, even by yourself. By investing in consistent, action-driven integrity, you secure a life marked by respect, both from the people who matter most and from the person staring back at you in the mirror. Chapter 2. Lying about small stuff. It begins with the tiniest fibs, telling her you're 5 minutes away while you're still in your living room, half-dressed and frantically searching for your keys. You insist the office coffee machine is out of service, when in reality you just craved a specialty latte from your favorite cafe down the street. When you oversleep, you blame non-existent traffic rather than admitting you hit snooze one too many times. In the moment, these small stretches of the truth can feel harmless, like convenient shortcuts to avoid conflict or embarrassment. But each seemingly inconsequential untruth quietly erodes the bedrock of trust, just as frost splits solid rock over time, creating cracks that deepen with each new freeze. The ancient Stoics had little tolerance for dishonesty, viewing falsehood as a kind of poison that first damages the speaker's own spirit. Repeated lies, no matter how minor, breed an internal dissonance, forcing you to maintain an ever-shifting narrative that can't remain consistent. This tension eventually radiates outward, and make no mistake, women sense it with remarkable speed. Her subconscious picks up on every mismatch between your words and reality, logging the inconsistencies even before her conscious mind can fully parse them. When she notices you bragging about burning more calories than you actually did at the gym or inflating your past salary to impress acquaintances, her internal alarms start ringing. If he alters details over trivial matters, what about crucial ones? What does that say about his capacity for honesty when it comes to finances, fidelity, or future plans? To break the cycle, practice what some call radical honesty. Start by logging every small lie or half-truth you tell for a week. Note the time, the context, and, most importantly, the motive behind it. Are you dodging accountability because it's more comfortable than admitting error? Are you exaggerating out of vanity? Or are you simply being lazy, taking a shortcut to avoid explanations? Once you see your pattern on paper or in your phone, you'll recognize how often you misrepresent reality. The key next step is choosing in-the-moment correction. Perhaps you catch yourself about to pretend you're closer to your destination than you really are. Pause and say, I'm actually still at home. I overslept and mismanaged my morning. I'll be there in 15. That single act of transparency, though it may cause a brief flicker of annoyance or confusion, ultimately strengthens trust rather than weakens it. It may feel uncomfortable at first, like tearing off a band-aid in slow motion, but truth offers an enduring peace. Lies, in contrast, buy you fleeting ease but saddle you with lingering suspicion. That suspicion doesn't just unsettle her, it also stirs up stress within you, as you work to remember which story you told and to whom. Women crave emotional security, and honesty functions as its cornerstone. Freeing yourself from the strain of deception fosters a calm steadiness in your voice and a noticeable ease in your body language. She picks up on this new clarity in the same way lungs sense the crisp purity of mountain air after a city smog. In such an environment of straightforward truth, attraction flourishes because she recognizes there's no need to second-guess or read between the lines. You evolve into a man she can rely on, one whose word means something. Over time, your refusal to sugarcoat or distort transforms even difficult conversations into opportunities for deeper connection. Of all the attributes a man might possess, financial success, physical allure, social confidence, there is nothing more compelling than authenticity. After all, a perfectly sculpted physique is irrelevant if it's wrapped in contradictions. But a man who stands by his words, even when doing so is inconvenient or awkward, radiates a rare magnetism. He is, in every sense, impossible to catch in a lie, and that unshakable integrity creates the kind of bond that goes beyond mere attraction and establishes genuine respect. Chapter 3. You don't listen. She starts describing her grandmother's treasured recipe, its fragrant spices, the cherished memories woven into each ingredient, and halfway through, you interrupt with a modern meal prep shortcut. She tries to explain the tension simmering at her workplace, and your eyes roam the bar in search of the latest sports highlights. Her lips continue moving, but your ears are preoccupied, waiting for a chance to unleash your next witty comeback. In that moment, the crucial currency of connection, genuine listening, feels bankrupt. You might think you're offering solutions or being efficient with time, but in reality, you're sending a loud and clear message: your experience doesn't matter as much as mine. In the Stoic tradition, true understanding was cultivated through phronsis, practical wisdom developed by careful questioning instead of hasty interruption. If you want to repair the cracks, begin by treating her words like mission-critical intelligence. The next time she speaks, stay present, look into her eyes instead of at your phone, mirror her posture to show empathy, and, most importantly, silence the chatter in your own mind. Give her sentences room to land, let them breathe and echo a moment before you craft any response. This pause accomplishes two things: it shows respect for her perspective and grants you the space to truly understand what she's saying. Ask clarifying questions that prove you've been paying attention, such as, when your manager took credit for your idea, that really felt dismissive, didn't it? That single statement tells her you see and validate her feelings. Her shoulders relax, her heart rate steadies, and the protective walls she's built start to come down. Scientific studies using neural imaging confirm what many relationship experts have long suspected: active listening activates reward centers in the brains of both speaker and listener, sparking a sense of mutual satisfaction and warmth. The moment she feels deeply heard, where her words resonate with you at more than a superficial level, something extraordinary happens. Attraction ignites in a way that transcends physical appearance, social status, or material success. At a fundamental level, safety and emotional security are precursors to deeper intimacy. They form the bedrock upon which genuine desire is built. This is why truly mastering the art of listening doesn't just prevent conflict, but can also transform disagreements into opportunities for growth. When you engage her points thoughtfully instead of turning them into a battlefield for your own opinions, she perceives you as a trusted debate partner rather than an adversary. Even during heated moments, the relationship can strengthen because she feels valued and safe enough to express her honest emotions. On the other hand, neglecting this skill ensures that even your most thoughtful gestures or compliments sound hollow, as if they're coming from someone who doesn't genuinely care. The man who can lock in, tune out the distractions, and offer undivided attention holds a magnetic pull far more powerful than any measure of financial success or gym-sculpted physique. It's not your abs, it's your attentive ears and open mind that ultimately draw her closer and keep her there. Chapter 4. You're messy. Laundry towers rise in corners like sedimentary rock formations, layer upon layer of ignored socks, shirts, and the occasional mismatched pillowcase. The kitchen sink becomes a graveyard of fossilized cereal bowls, each day's breakfast congealing into hardened leftovers that require serious scrubbing. Your car console, overflowing with half-empty coffee cups, stray receipts, and tangled charging cords, resembles a small museum of modern clutter, documenting your life's chaotic timeline. Despite the seemingly trivial nature of scattered belongings, it all silently points to one glaring issue: disorganization. And, like a bright neon sign, the disorganization can register as immaturity. Subconsciously, it implies that you might struggle with larger challenges in the future. After all, if it's this hard to tidy up your shoes, how will you handle car payments, mortgages, raising children, or tackling a sudden crisis? From the early philosophies of the Stoics in Greece and Rome to modern psychological insights, there's a shared understanding that external order is deeply connected to internal stability. When your environment is managed, even if not flawlessly, it frees your mind to focus on more meaningful tasks, such as setting and achieving personal goals, nurturing relationships, and exploring creativity. Conversely, living in perpetual chaos can sow subtle but persistent anxiety, leading to overwhelm and a subconscious sense of failure before you even start your day. Training yourself in tidiness is more than just folding clothes or filing documents. It's about claiming ownership of your surroundings and projecting a sense of personal competence. Cultivating neat habits can begin with small, deliberate shifts in your daily routine. For instance, make your bed before you even glance at your phone in the morning. This seemingly minor act of tucking in sheets and arranging pillows sets a productive tone for the day, a visual and mental reminder that order is within reach. Then, tackle dishes as soon as you finish a meal, preventing leftover food and sauces from transforming into crusty monuments to procrastination. In the evening, perform a quick reset of your workspace, gather scattered papers, line up pens, and wipe away any smudges on your desk. When you wake up the next day, you'll be greeted by a fresh, uncluttered slate primed for focused effort. A surprisingly powerful ally in this fight against clutter is the 1-minute rule. If a task can be completed in less than 60 seconds, do it right away rather than letting it spiral into a larger chore. Throw away junk mail instead of letting it pile up. Hang your jacket instead of tossing it on the nearest chair. Rinse a coffee cup immediately instead of allowing the residue to harden. These micro-habits compound over time, gradually dissolving accumulated mess and lifting the mental fog that often accompanies disarray. Over weeks and months, you'll find you've systematically eliminated countless tiny stressors that once roamed unchecked through your day. It's not just about personal calm, though a tidy environment radiates a subtle respect for anyone who shares your space. She'll notice when the bed is neatly made and the sink is empty of dishes. She'll appreciate not having to navigate a floor littered with shoes. And she'll certainly see when the car's dashboard is free of coffee stains. Whether consciously or not, these observations translate into a sense of reassurance about your reliability and sense of responsibility. A pattern of organization signals an ability to prioritize and follow through, hinting at emotional maturity far more effectively than a designer wardrobe or any flashy accessory. After all, if you can keep your living area in decent shape, it suggests you're also capable of tackling life's larger demands. What's more, creating a welcoming living and working space lays the groundwork for a healthier dynamic with any partner. Instead of bickering over abandoned plates or scattered electronics, you'll set a stage where daily life flows with minimal friction. On a practical level, you'll also avoid countless headaches, misplaced keys, buried bills, or last-minute scrambles for an item you were sure you just saw somewhere. Over time, the cumulative effect on your emotional well-being and productivity is substantial. Mental energy once wasted on constantly searching for things or feeling guilty about the mess is instead channeled into positive projects and personal goals. Cleanliness, though it may appear minor, wields a gravitational pull that draws people in. We instinctively gravitate toward environments and individuals that exude a sense of health, clarity, and order. Clutter, on the other hand, can repel or at the very least create unnecessary tension. By consciously choosing neatness, you tap into a core human preference for harmony and aesthetic appeal. This timeless principle underlines the idea that a well-kept space isn't merely about impressing others, it's about crafting a lifestyle that aligns with your highest aspirations. Ultimately, tidiness grants freedom from the mental debris that disorganization perpetuates, freedom from the small but persistent frictions that can erode relationships over time, and freedom to focus on what truly matters. A life that rests on order, even in small corners, signals readiness for bigger responsibilities. It demonstrates reliability and cultivates the kind of resilience that comes from being prepared. When she sees that you're on top of your environment, it subtly reassures her that you can also be on top of more significant challenges, an unspoken promise of stability and partnership. By embracing this mindset, you don't just tidy up your space, you reinforce the best version of yourself, one neatly folded sock at a time. Chapter 5. Putting in zero effort. Hair untrimmed, plans unplanned, dreams left collecting dust. You drift through your days, hoping for admiration based on potential never actualized. You imagine you'll be rewarded simply for existing, forgetting that potential without action rots faster than fruit in the sun. Effort is not about performance for others, it's evidence of value recognition. When you truly care about something or someone, you naturally invest energy into cultivating it. That energy, that consistent attention to growth, is magnetic. Neglect, on the other hand, silently repels. No woman dreams of signing up to raise a man who won't raise himself. Stoic discipline teaches that excellence is built not by bursts of motivation but by quiet, repeated action, daily habits that sculpt not only the body but the mind and soul. The world's most resilient empires, Stoic or otherwise, were built stone by stone, law by law, ritual by ritual. In the same way, your foundation is laid in the small, mundane tasks you perform or neglect every day. Upgrade your appearance with tactical consistency. Book your barber appointment before you need it, not when your reflection demands it. Learn the geometry of your body, know what cuts of fabric complement your frame, and tailor your clothes accordingly. Shoes should gleam as if they are invitations to conversation, because in a way, they are. These small visual signals telegraph self-respect before you even open your mouth. Upgrade your health. Commit to progressive overload at least 3 times per week, pushing your body beyond its last comfortable limit. Fill your plate with whole foods that nourish rather than sedate. Your body is a visible contract with yourself, and women read it fluently without needing a translator. Weak energy, sluggish posture, and dulled eyes broadcast apathy, vitality, strength, and clean presence hint at a life actively honored. Upgrade your relationship presence. Don't just suggest vague dates, architect memorable ones. Book the tickets ahead of time. Choose the restaurant with intention. Research an art exhibit, a rooftop concert, a trail for hiking. Prepare conversation prompts that deepen rather than skim, questions that explore dreams, childhood memories, crazy ambitions. Women don't need extravagant budgets, they need proof that you considered her experience. Effort signals gratitude. It says, I see your value, and I meet it with my own. When a woman sees you maintain your physique, sharpen your skills, and actively guide shared experiences, attraction compounds naturally. Each visible investment you make in yourself and your shared time becomes silent but undeniable evidence that you would invest equal passion and diligence into her dreams, too. You demonstrate that nurturing is your default setting, not because you seek applause, but because excellence requires it. Conversely, zero effort whispers entitlement. It mumbles, you should love me as I am, even if I don't lift a finger to stay sharp, stay interesting, stay alive. But attraction does not honor entitlement, it honors devotion. The man who brings nothing to the table but stale ambition will watch as real women, real opportunities, and real intimacy slip away toward the man who understands that love, life, and respect are gardens, not vending machines. The distance between zero effort and dedicated attention is the gap that determines whether she leans in or quietly leans away. Attraction is organic, it either grows or withers. And growth demands tending. You don't have to move mountains every day, but you must move something, one haircut, one workout, one plan crafted with genuine excitement. Small acts, multiplied over months, build an ecosystem where trust, passion, and loyalty thrive. Effort is not about exhausting yourself trying to impress, it's about refusing to insult yourself by giving the bare minimum. It's about maintaining standards because you respect yourself first. A man who respects himself automatically teaches others, including the woman beside him, how to respect him in return. Your posture, your grooming, your calendar, your meals, your mental sharpness, all of it speaks. And she is listening even when you think she's not. If you've been coasting, start small. Identify one domain, appearance, fitness, planning, conversation, and raise the bar there this week. Build momentum. The confidence you generate from fulfilling small promises to yourself will ripple outward. Your handshake will feel firmer. Your smile will last longer. Your presence will feel heavier in the room. No great civilization was built on potential alone. No powerful life was sculpted without the chisel of effort. Stop betting on hope. Build instead. Let her, and the world, witness your commitment, not your wishful thinking. Women do not fall for ideas, they fall for evidence. Be the evidence. Be the effort. And watch how everything you once chased now finds itself circling you naturally, drawn to the fire you refuse to let die. Chapter 6: Poor Communication. Feelings fester unspoken. Needs get hinted at through sarcasm instead of honesty. Boundaries hide behind passive sighs and vague discomfort. Over time, the emotional landscape turns into a minefield. Conflicts explode not because the offenses were grand, but because no clear coordinates were ever marked. Poor communication doesn't just spark arguments, it rots the foundation of trust in slow, invisible corrosion. The worst part is that it often masquerades as politeness, choosing silence over clarity, smoothing over tension instead of excavating its source. The Stoics understood this pitfall thousands of years ago. They wielded rhetoric like surgeons, not to show off intelligence, but to heal misunderstandings before they metastasized. To them, precision in language was a moral duty. When Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, he was practicing internal speech clarity, knowing that if his thoughts tangled, his actions would too. For a modern man, that discipline applies first and foremost to relationships. If your partner must guess your emotional state, your desires, or your pain points, you are not protecting the bond, you are sabotaging it. Communication must be architectural. Each sentence is a structural beam, meant to hold weight, tension, and change. Replace vague dissatisfaction with vivid description, instead of passive complaints like "you never care about my time." Say, "When plans change at the last minute, I feel sidelined and disconnected. Can we agree to confirm details by noon?" This builds clarity. Express gratitude explicitly and precisely, not "thanks for your help," but "your insight during that meeting opened a path I hadn't seen. Thank you for that." Praise specifics, not generalities. That attention to detail reinforces intimacy and trust far more powerfully than generic niceties. State boundaries before resentment builds poison. If you know decompressing after work is crucial, don't expect her to read your mood. Say it simply and directly: "I need an hour post-work to decompress, and after that, you'll have my full attention." Preemptive honesty prevents reactive withdrawal. It turns emotional chaos into a navigable map. Poor communication breeds guessing games. Guessing games breed anxiety. Anxiety suffocates desire. When a woman feels she must constantly decode you, read between lines, scan for signals, interpret silences, her nervous system tenses. She can't relax into connection because survival instinct has taken over. Connection cannot deepen in a space where guessing becomes the dominant mode. Speak plainly, and desire breathes. Speak vaguely, and desire suffocates. It's that direct. Strong communication also requires mastery over tone and timing. A boundary shouted at midnight after 3 drinks is less effective than a boundary spoken calmly over breakfast. Praise thrown in after an argument sounds manipulative. Praise given spontaneously, during moments of calm, feels genuine. Timing is everything. Delivery is everything. Discipline your words the way a craftsman disciplines his hands, every sentence intentional, built to support, never to destroy. Be cautious with your silences too. Silence, when weaponized, is manipulation. The cold shoulder might feel powerful in the moment, but it breeds suspicion, not loyalty. Use silence as space for thought, not punishment. If you need time to process, communicate that too. I need 30 minutes to gather my thoughts before we continue. Clarity even about silence maintains the emotional structure. Women evaluate not just what you say, but how you say it and when. They're not looking for constant agreement, they're looking for reliability of truth. She wants to know that if she hands you her heart, you won't mishandle it through omission or emotional laziness. She wants to know that conflicts won't be shoved under rugs or exploded in hidden resentment. When you articulate your inner landscape clearly, she can explore without fear of hidden drop-offs, without fear that at any moment the ground will vanish beneath her feet. Poor communication makes every interaction feel high risk. Good communication, clear, direct, grounded, makes every interaction feel like building a house together. And houses built on good foundations don't collapse under storms. It is easy to assume she should know what you feel. It's easy to tell yourself, if she loved me, she'd understand. But love is not telepathy. Love is not decoding. Love is not guessing games. Love is choosing to communicate even when it feels vulnerable. Choosing to clarify even when silence feels easier. Choosing to say, this is who I am, this is what I need, and this is where I am growing. Master your communication and you master the frame within which attraction, loyalty, and passion can not only survive, but thrive. Weak communication allows weeds to creep into the garden. Strong communication plants oak trees. Every clear conversation is a reinforcement of the world you're building together. Every unspoken resentment is a crack in the dam. So choose clarity over comfort. Precision over passive aggression. Brave vulnerability over guarded silence. Build your communication like you would build a fortress, strong enough to weather storms, open enough to invite trust, structured enough to foster freedom. Speak plainly, and watch her trust, attraction, and love not only survive, but soar. Chapter 7. Checking out other girls. Your eyes flicker to passing curves. Your thumb double-taps bikini shots on the explore feed without thinking. Compliments slip across DM lines to women you barely know, harmless, you tell yourself. No intention, just appreciation, you reason. But to her, it registers differently. To her, it registers as a breach, not of loyalty in the most catastrophic sense, but of attentional fidelity. Because what many men don't realize is this: fidelity isn't just physical. It's emotional, visual, and energetic. And the cracks that form from wandering eyes are no less damaging than words or actions would be. Desire's reflex is natural. The Stoics themselves never denied the force of human impulse. They simply taught that mastery over impulse is the highest expression of power. Stoic discipline demands that we acknowledge temptation, observe it dispassionately, and return our gaze, our focus, our loyalty to the path we have consciously chosen. You cannot prevent the momentary reaction, but you are absolutely responsible for the decision that follows. Every time you glance too long, every time your attention fractures to follow someone else, you send a subtle but potent signal: you are not enough to hold my gaze. And the feminine heart is acutely tuned to such betrayals, even if words never cross your lips. Attraction and trust erode not with dramatic explosions, but with tiny erosions that accumulate over time. The remedy lies in visual discipline. Hold your gaze on her during conversation, even when distractions orbit your field of vision. Strengthen your attention like you strengthen your body through repetition, awareness, and correction. Audit your digital environment. Curate your social media feed deliberately, unfollow triggers, mute X-flames, eliminate the algorithm's bait before it hijacks your loyalty. Treat your online behavior with the same reverence you expect in your real-world interactions. And if admiration ever escapes in conversation, redirect it back into celebrating her. If you notice beauty elsewhere, use it to enhance, not diminish your bond. Say, that dress reminds me how incredible you looked in red last weekend. Anchor external observations back into your shared connection. She feels prioritized, not compared. She feels chosen again, every time, in micro moments that build trust like drops of water filling a reservoir. Understand that women measure love differently than men often assume. They measure it in the invisible things, the way you lean in when she speaks, the way your eyes stay steady when others pass by, the way you seem to see no one else in a crowded room. Each of these moments is a silent declaration, I am here. I have chosen you. I am not scanning for better options. The man who can master his eyes masters more than perception, he masters himself. His presence becomes thicker, heavier, more magnetic. Women relax around men whose attention doesn't waver because such steadiness signals safety. It signals strength. It signals deep-rooted commitment not born of necessity but of conscious decision. But the man who refuses this discipline, who dismisses wandering eyes as harmless fun, who jokes about window shopping, slowly chips away at the foundation. It might not collapse today. It might not collapse next month. But the hairline fractures will spread. Trust will calcify into suspicion. Affection will be filtered through doubt. And eventually, what once bloomed effortlessly will wither under the shadow of uncertainty. So treat your gaze like sacred currency. Spend it wisely. Spend it intentionally. Understand that the currency of your attention is one of the most powerful tools you possess, and also one of the most revealing. Where your eyes go, your mind goes. Where your mind goes, your heart eventually follows. Choose to anchor both mind and gaze to the woman you have chosen. Reinforce that choice daily with small but potent acts of focus. Praise her openly. See her fully. And when temptations inevitably swirl, acknowledge them like passing clouds and let them drift by, untouched. Master this, and your relationship will grow roots deep enough to withstand the storms that topple lesser unions. She will not just feel admired, she will feel worshipped, honored, revered, not in dramatic speeches but in the quiet consistency of your focus. That, above all else, is the foundation where enduring love and unshakable loyalty are built. And if ever you doubt whether these small moments matter, remember, trust, like love, lives or dies in the smallest, easiest to miss spaces. In a glance. In a look. In a heartbeat you choose to stay fully, fiercely, and faithfully present. Seneca reminds us, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The 7 habits you just dissected are the fastest way to sabotage both preparation and opportunity, so cut them off at the root. Choose one habit tonight and act, scrub the dishes, speak the truth, honor your schedule, hold eye contact. Then share your commitment in the comments so the brotherhood can keep you accountable. Hit like if clarity hit hard, subscribe for the next Stoic upgrade, and pass this episode to a friend still tripping over these silent deal breakers. Remember, confidence isn't mystique, it's disciplined consistency. Strip away what turns women off, and what remains is the man you were meant to be, and no tricks, no chase, just unapologetic presence.